Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever we are in the day. This is Sean Spees coming to you, letting you know what it's set up for instructional videos on my side. What we use is we use a LMS called Canvas. It allows us to do some things, and one of them is to create an assignments. In my case, a quiz, so it can be self-graded. Most of these will be things like graphing won't be applicable here if it comes into a complicated answer that like a repeating decimal and different things like that where format might matter how they type in an answer. It won't really be specifically straightforward question. We'd have to adapt the question to check for understanding. But for an example like we have here for absolute value, what the student would click on is first the assignment, which it only gives me the student preview in the assignment itself because I'm in a non-published course. So I can't go all the way back, but what it would do is have a day. It would have an assignment listed for that day. They would click on it and they would get to here. It would have 1.1 integers and absolute value and tell them this is the instructional videos with questions. Kind of give them a little bit of instruction. Each video is an example of how to show your work. And this would kind of, I know she talked about in the video the Aspire to do. This would be kind of a setup to where you could look at and be like, well, what does it mean show you work? And I'd have something up on the wall that's an example of showing work, and then copy down what's written and then adding to it. So one thing I like to tell my students is note taking isn't just copying what your teacher said. That's just copying. Notes is what you add to that to where you understand what they've said and you can apply it. So, really, that's what I think 2 through 3 stand for in the instructions. Anyway, they go on from there and then they can watch a video. They can attempt the questions right off the bat, skip the video if they want to. They don't really find very good success with that. And it kind of gets them to go, okay, fine. To come in here, click the video. They can skip around. I know we also have access to things like Nearpod and things like that, but I found that it's just as limited in Nearpod as it is in here. We don't have direct access in Edpuzzle. I really try to limit how many places a student needs to go to achieve information or to receive information and to then achieve success. So having them go out to Nearpod from Canvas and then having them go potentially out to Big Ideas, which is our publisher, and their website for potential problems, and then maybe Edpuzzle, and then maybe. The more I can embed in Canvas, the easier it is, the more focused I find the students tend to be, and the less lost they tend to get. So that's one reason I've chosen to do that on Canvas. They can jump around, they can pin questions, and really each lesson, unless they smoothly go together, like 1.1 and 1.2 go together. So this video covers both of those, and then they'll have 4 questions. They aren't embedded in the video, which I know Canvas allows us to embed certain parts, and I'm still trying to acquire how to do that after the video's been made from an external source. So I may be able to do an update later. Anyway, they and then these would be added into the video themselves as a pause point where absolute value 7 might pop up, and the absolute value of -1 might get moved to the next video because the first video is about positive integers, the second video is about negative integers. Then it goes on and it covers real life application, just has a real life problem that they may find where absolute value comes into play. There's also how to compare. So there's a third video. So it does chunk it out per section and really allows them to watch a video, take notes over that, try problems directly over those lessons, and then move on to the next one. All within the same range, so it's all covered within the same or same section, but each lesson is independent. And then after that, the last one here ends up being an essay question, and I know those take time to grade, but this would be like, hey, I've turned it in, I can take a quick look, and obviously we didn't have any answers. Hey, I've turned it in, I'm not able to take a look right now, but if you feel confident, let's go ahead and get that mastery check in. I'd prefer to at least look, I can just pull it up and see what they got based on the first 8 questions, I think it was, outside of the essay, and be like, you seem to be going back and forth. Let's have a quick chat about it. Or, no, you seem to be pretty strong about it. Before I look at the reasoning, let's go ahead and try that mastering. We might be able to do it. And if not, then we can see where we're paused between explanation or the reasoning question here and the mastery check. So that's basically that would cover 1.1 all the way until like it seems like you've got it, you're ready to go. Let's go ahead and get that assignment worked, where it's going to have multiple questions that are just straightforward questions. Just like what is the absolute value of 7? What is the absolute value of -5? What is the absolute value of 10? Things like that. Then one or two word questions, and then a little bit more complicated question, anywhere from 10 to 15 in total. I'm really looking for that balance where they can show consistency on they've really got mastery on the first part and being able to differentiate between really levels 2, 3, and 4 and understanding of the material. So that's how I'm looking at how this breakdown goes in the intermittent questions, not quite embedded, but in between each lesson to really do that check. Hey, after you've watched the video and you've taken the notes, are you able to apply it and move on from there?